Good evening, everybody.
Good
It is
evening.
a Sunday
Hello.
evening. Hello, and welcome to the fireside chat. I just thought we'd do a slightly different beginning.
Were you very comfortable?
I
with your head hanging off the
was
log?
in fact massively uncomfortable. I
Yes,
thought
I
of
thought so.
lying my head in your lap, and then I thought that will be what they term orkies.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
it
you
would
for
have been.
not.
Yes, marvellous. Okay, on with that. Wonderful to have Tristan with us today. And I believe he was very amusing, and indeed I've no doubt he was massively informative. He's very experienced, and it was wonderful to have him on drive with us today. Quite a lot of smoke blowing our way. Jamie Patterson, if you're wondering what she did this afternoon, well, she was knocking about the place doing some filming for your superhero shots.
Superhero shots, yes.
Did
it's
you?
my favourite thing in the whole wide
Yes,
world.
yes,
Do
because you
enjoy
are
it.
such a narcissist, of
Yes,
course.
I really
yes, unlike
it's very
me.
comfortable.
And did you look heroic?
I think so. I think with Jean-Dre filming, anybody looks... It's just so emotional. The tears are streaming from my eyes. I'm sure I looked suitably heroic,
You were
yes.
so heroically super
It was just
that
too
you are
much.
now crying.
Yes, I'm
Would
now
you like to sit
overwhelmed
on
by
this
the
side of me?
emotions. No, I think, well, I was okay up until about 2 seconds ago where
Okay.
it gusted
All right,
into
well,
my
you
face.
just suffer through it then.
Okay, I'll do.
Now, everyone, we've got two main themes for you today. The first being the Mara. Now, the Mara I went to, I have now been described by some of our viewers as the Mara expert on the back end of 2 days there. I'm not an expert on the Mara by any stretch of the imagination. I am, however, utterly astounded by it, and if you have a look at this next clip, you'll see why.
Here we go, everybody. They're coming. They're going in. There's some hippo opposite them. Oh! I cannot believe this. There's a little one. There's a little one. So it's not that easy for the croc. He's grabbed one. That is a massive crocodile, everybody. It's got to be at least 10 feet long. He's grabbed one by the tail, by the leg now. He's grabbed it. He's got it by the tail. And we'll just see if we don't see one perhaps missing a tail. You can hear it bellowing. There he comes, here he comes, here he comes. Here he goes, straight for one there. Oh, jeepers. This is unbelievable. There, he's got one. No, it's got away. That crocodile's the biggest crocodile I've ever seen, everyone, and there are many of them here. Zebras have thought no ways. Gee whiz, people, I really didn't expect to see this on our very first.
Now, the first thing I'd quite like to say about that clip was that my presenting, obviously, is just one of a gobsmacked tourist. There's nothing biologically impressive about it. In fact, I'm slightly embarrassed by what you've just seen.
I thought it was lovely.
But that's very kind of you, thank you. I think it was just instinctual behaviour. It was just so amazing. The second thing to note about that is the incompetence of that crocodile. Now,
It was incompetent.
after we watched it, Graham said to me he's watched hundreds of documentaries about the Mara, and he's in fact spent some time on that very river. And he was under the impression that the crocodiles always caught. And of course, if you watch a documentary, that's what you think. In the same way that if you watch a documentary about lions, you'll think that they murder things on a sort of 5-minutely basis. Every time they think about that, wanting to eat, they can. Anyway, the next day after that, after we left Gormless Crocodile there, we watched the same kind of thing happening, except that the crocodiles didn't excuse me, the crocodiles didn't miss at all. They nailed 3 wildebeest and 1 zebra in the space of not very long at all. I too was overcome with emotion by these scenes.
On the subject of being overcome with emotion,
Thank you.
James Richard would like to know if you have a wish list for your return. Apart from being able to breathe and see,
Yes,
which is high
I
priority.
do have a wish list. Our big priority for the next trip there, of course, which will be at the end of the month, is to try and get hold of a lion kill live at night, and that's what we're going to be trying to do. I don't think it's going to be easy. We don't know anything about the lions. There's the information coming in on the different lines of the Mara Triangle is fairly sketchy, and it's because it's so big. There aren't anything like the number of tourists concentrating on the actual prides like there are here. So I think that's going to be very difficult, but I also think that it will be remarkably rewarding if we can actually do it. So that's great. And I was just saying, of course, we're not exactly sure how it's going to work yet, but there will be nighttime running here at the same time as there's nighttime running over there in Kenya, and that's because, you know, that'll just give us some variety. And I said to Graham while we were there, I said, watch the Nkuhuma Pride pull one out of the box while we're all the way in Kenya trying to film a lion pride killing at night.
The Nkuhumas will do it.
Will probably perform for us. So that's one thing we're hoping to see. I'm hoping to just kind of absorb more of that unbelievable atmosphere, to watch more of the crossings, to try and understand why they do that, because as far as I understand it, nobody really gets why those animals cross the river. And as I said while I was there, it's quite important to note that they don't just cross once. They go up and down across that river because the northern section of that Mara Serengeti ecosystem is kind of cut into a third and two-thirds by the Mara River. And the animals go across it hundreds of times over the course of the 3 months that they're up there. So that's very odd and nobody really understands why. Have you been there?
I haven't been there, no. It's high on my list of places to go.
What about it do you think attracts you? I'm sorry.
It's quite all right. It's the emotion again.
Emotional subject
bubbling
up
to the surface.
Yes.
I think it's the space and the numbers of animals. Just from the experience that you seem to have had and what I've seen from it. That's high on my list of places that I would like to go.
It was certainly one of the most amazing things for me to see is the sheer expanse and the vast number of animals. We see a wildebeest here, we stop immediately, we do a segment on it.
Absolutely.
There you wouldn't drive more than maybe half a mile in the space of 100,000 segments because there are that many animals to see.
Well, thank goodness for that crocodile.
Yes, the Gormus
never eat at all.
crocodile, exactly, yes. If that crocodile didn't have that many animals to eat, I suspect he'd have starved a long time ago. All right, let's move on to our next clip. And a quite astounding sighting that Jamie had the other day. Would you like to just tell us a little bit about it before we begin?
No, before we go into the clip, I think those of you who were watching will know, over the last week, will know exactly the one that we're talking about, which involved 5 different leopards, 1 hyena and 3 wild dogs. So have a look at this.
Karula's no longer alone for 2 reasons. One, the cub is there. One, Tingana's just arrived. Shadow is Karula's daughter. We spoke about sharing kills before, so there's not a major threat to Karula or her cubs in this scenario. It's just a fascinating situation. Here's Shadow looking slightly with her nose out of joint, as if the soap opera couldn't get any more dramatic. Look who has turned up to scout the scene. A hyena at the base of the marula tree, and a shadow lying right in front of it, which we often see with leopards and hyenas. And all along, the winner of this particular scenario rests, if not comfortably, then perhaps precariously, on his marula tree. It is now obviously very, very dark. We will be leaving the sighting as soon as we've finished off with our sunset safari. Wild dogs. There's wild dogs in this sighting. I don't believe this. Run, Shadow, run, Shadow, run. This is absolutely phenomenal. We can't move just now. We need to give these leopards space. Run, 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 up. Good girl. This is absolutely astounding. My goodness gracious me. One of the most extraordinary sightings. I'm speechless. Apparently you guys are all speechless. I'm speechless too.
And what a truly remarkable sighting that was. I mean, that concentration of predators in one particular moment was absolutely... And it was as I was doing my closing that the wild dogs came in. We were winding down gently. Tingana was resting uncomfortably in a tree, and it was all sort of finishing. Except 3 wild dogs came in and chased them all up the trees.
Now, I've seen that clip, of course. And the highlight for me, and I've no doubt for absolutely everybody out there, was Run Shadow Run Shadow Run,
I
which
don't
was
think I'm
said
ever going to.
with such poise and such determination, and indeed inspired the leopard to leap up a tree and escape from the wild dogs.
It was very genuine at the time. I was quite
It was
terrified.
wonderful. It was wonderful.
And I mean, in hindsight, I don't think that terror was in any way justified, because they might have, even if one of them had caught her. I mean, the ferocity of an angry leopard.
I've
in
seen
that
3 wild
situation.
dogs catch a male leopard.
Have you?
And pin him. And,
Really?
Yeah, and young male, sort of 2.5 years old. No, 3 years old. And they can do some serious damage. Yeah.
No, it was.
Anyway, an amazing sighting, and I suppose, I mean, it's not that unusual, is it?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, I think this actually, the percentage that we see in terms of the animals' lives, this probably happens all the time around a kill.
I think it does.
I think it does. I mean, you see how comfortable leopards and hyenas are around each other. And they were absolutely, I think they knew exactly what they were doing. Shadow was lying 5 meters from that hyena at one point. Now, unless you wanted to know, so I saw the cubs. I did, right at the point where Tingana came in with Shadow, I'd just seen the 2 cubs moving towards Mom, and Karula actually called them initially before Tingana showed up, so I think they were on their way. So we know they were there, and then Herbert, of course, the next morning tracked them straight over the southern boundary.
So they made it through that sighting unscathed, and then also they were found the cubs, I don't know if the cubs were found today, but Karula, Karula, Shadow and Tingana were found in the same sighting south of us on Little Gari, which is just slightly bizarre.
Fascinating.
But we've also seen interactions between leopards and wild dogs, where leopards have taken wild dogs' kills, and I mean, you wouldn't think they would, because they normally avoid wild dogs. They go up the trees like they did yesterday. They don't take risks, but I've seen male leopards come shooting out of bushes, grabbing. They're attracted by the noise. They come and they have a look, and they're not beyond scavenging, and they'll grab something straight through, and they're so fast, shoot up a tree with a steenbok or an impala or something like that, and hang it from a limb, and there they will sort of feed while the dogs yap underneath, very cross. Now, yesterday I had a very, very rare pleasure, and I must just say something before we watch this clip. Brian and I were coming down to the waterhole, and we saw the leopard, and I slowed down, and the leopard at about 150 meters got up, looked and ran. So we stopped and we waited, and then slowly we moved away. We don't actually have a clip of this, sorry, so we're just going to discuss it. And eventually we got closer and closer and closer, and she just let us sit with her, which was wonderful. So that is the granddaughter of the great Sarayeshe, Queen of the West, I suppose we might refer to her.
I suppose you would, yes.
Have you seen her?
I went past that sighting at the end of the Sunset Safari.
Yes.
I happened to have Kirsty on the back of the vehicle, so we thought we'd pop by and just
fair enough.
pay a visit to a leopard that I have not yet seen. Of course, and I saw Tundi's daughter as well this week. So I've
new
had,
one?
yes, well, not the new one, but no, I've seen Tundi's daughter, who doesn't have a name. And
the
again,
one that you saw on Cheetah Plains?
Yes.
Okay, so it's been a week of new leopard.
it has been a week of new leopards.
That is marvellous
Truly
indeed.
special.
I nearly got you to say leopard, but you didn't.
I didn't, sorry.
No. And I found, quite interestingly, both in Chila and the rest of her ilk, they're kind of sort of brown, not in a bad way, of course. One doesn't insult the leopards on this show, not if one values one's life. They're kind of brown. The Nkanyeni lineage is golden, and then the honey-coloured lineage of Karula. I think it's quite remarkable that the colours are so different. Now, we have a treat, of course. Today I did my kangaroo hop on the sort of advent of Australia's National Wildlife Day. Jamie failed to do that. Now, Jamie, would you like to just hop from the skull?
Hop from the skull?
From the skull towards the fire, but not into it.
Oh, what is the idea?
You're not a bunny, are you? You're a kangaroo. Right, so a kangaroo's box.
Quite strong, yes.
Right,
Not quite a bunny.
right, off you go then.
All right, then.
That's very, very athletic hopping.
I'm very scared.
Right, well there you are, you can sit
and
back
fire.
down again there.
Thank you very
Excellent.
much. Thank you, everybody.
Right, that's going to be it
That
from
wasn't
us,
energy
everyone.
efficient at
We
all.
will see you tomorrow at 0600. Until then, stay safe and happy wherever you are, and thanks for joining us today.
Bye-bye, everybody.